Very good evening to all of you. Uh, so, you're with Pink to the Bones program, a woman empowerment webinar organized by Leo Club of Athokalpur. So, let me introduce uh, our chief guest speaker today. She is none other than Gaia Kodituaku, a well-known fitness trainer. So I don't have to explain more because everybody in Sri Lanka knows her. So I'll welcome you, and to welcome you all, let I invite Leo Mishara Ratnayaka, the chairperson of the project Pink to the Bones. Leo Mishara.
Good afternoon, all of you. I'm Leo Mishara Ratnayaka. It's a pleasure to welcome all to the Pink to the Bonds webinar session. As far as we know, this topic is not talking about many people in the society. So today we are going to discuss about topic about need to be talk about in the society at present. First of all, I would like to welcome our guest speaker, Ms. Gaia. She's the fitness and wellness professional trainer, radio professional, and holistic healer entrepreneur. And it's my pleasure to welcome Leo Kojita Gamlat, District Vice President, Leo District 306 C1. And I would like to welcome Leo Kandu Kumar Singha, our club president, Leo Club of Atgalpura, and all the club executive board, club directors, and all the club members, at least and last, all the participants who join us with today's discussion. We welcome all as well. While enjoying this discussion, I ask you to add something to your life. Thank you.
Thank you, Mishara. Oh, so good evening, Gaia. You're on mute.
Good evening. Good evening.
Good evening. So it's really nice to have you. It's a pleasure to have you. So actually, for myself, I have been following you since 2016 on, as I can remember. So this is a special moment for me as well. So to start with, so I'll ask. I know this is a very common question, but I'll start with this. So who is Gaia? How do you introduce yourself to us?
Okay. I think it's tough for me to define who I am because I feel like I've constantly just broken frames, broken definitions. I don't think I've ever stayed the same for too long. I think I keep changing, keep evolving, and I think that's my expertise. It first started with evolving and changing and transforming my body, and it changed and turned into transforming my mind. And I think that's what I'm passionate about the most. I think fitness is just a vehicle for me. I use training, I use movement as a vehicle to understand deeper things, and that's what I absolutely love. I think we are getting some feedback, probably from somebody listening in. If you guys can all just mute yourselves, it'll be much easier. Yeah, so that's basically my passion. From the time I was a child, I was really interested in understanding human potential and understanding in and truly looking at our own weaknesses, because I feel like a lot of us don't like to acknowledge when we are wrong or when we've messed up, or when we do something that's not so noble. But for me, my entire journey has been looking at myself and really looking closer at the dirt, and really observing my mind and looking at avenues where I can develop on a daily basis. So this basically means when I'm wrong, I admit it, I accept it. When I've done something wrong, I apologize. And also looking at this physical vehicle as something temporary, but something that can be used to develop ourselves. So yeah. Mm.
Yes. So going with that, so this is another story you have mentioned quite many times. I'm going to ask next. So, what got you into fitness? So I know this story. I have listened to you, and I have shown this story, the video, to my girlfriend to motivate her when she was not doing well. So I want everyone to know. So can you tell us a story?
There's a long story. I'll try to summarize it as much as possible. For me, I experienced suicidal depression for a very long time. I went through chronic depression for nearly like a decade in my life because when I turned 19, I went through some serious trauma. I was sexually assaulted. I went through an extremely abusive, violent relationship. I've ended up with concussions, black eyes. I ended up in the hospital. I had to get restraining orders, go to courts. I went through all of that in a foreign country by myself whilst studying and going through my bachelor's degree. And I was a baby in the sense when I was in Sri Lanka, I was not exposed to the to society because my family was extremely conventional, very conventional traditional people, and I was the only grandchild. I am the only grandchild, the only child in the family, so I was extremely overprotected. So when I went overseas to study and when I got into this tough, tough, dark relationship, I went through a lot, and I didn't have the tools to process the trauma that I went through. I didn't. Unlike nowadays, we didn't have social media. We didn't have this type of information available to us. So what I resorted to was training because what we do as humans when we go through trauma, we internalize this trauma in our bodies through neurotic holding patterns. So um, what we do is we internalize our pain. So what happens when we move is that we release the pain, and we also our bodies start producing endorphins and happy hormones. So immediately you start feeling better. So I would be super depressed and I would go train, and within an hour my mood would change into a much positive, elevated frequency, and I would be like, what is this? I want to do this more and more. And I remember when I came back to Sri Lanka, um, on my way back from some journey, I got mugged right in front of my house. Someone like stole my bag, and I got dragged um, uh, by a motorcycle, and it was super traumatic for me. And I realized, my gosh, I don't have the physical strength to defend myself. So that really made me want to become physically strong as well as a woman, and that got me into kickboxing and Muay Thai and all these other kind of martial arts as well. And that's how it started for me. For me, it was much more than trying to change the shape of my body. It was more a matter of life and death because I didn't want to feel suicidal anymore. I want to feel good. And that's what got me into training.
Yes. uh, that was a very inspiring story, and believe me, it inspired a lot. Wa- Especially the one I care about. She got into fitness, and all of a sudden, she was going to the gym without me as well. Uh, so yes, that was very inspiring. Then there's this so-called standards in society that women can't lead the society. When it comes to companies, the clubs, and especially you can't do your own company, you can't have your own startup like that. So but you have proved them wrong. So the leadership as a self-employed person, how would you say that?
Um, I honestly, I mean, obviously, gender equality and discrimination exists, but for I think the way I was wired, I didn't even give it attention. I just want to do what I want to do, and I want to pursue what I was passionate about. The cool thing is, whatever gender you are, you have specific advantages. For me, being a woman, there is power and grace in being a woman. Just because you lead doesn't mean that you have turned into a man. You can lead with grace, you can lead with power. And for me, when I first started my career, there were literally next to no other known female fitness professional in the industry. And when I started online coaching, there was literally no one else doing online coaching. So it was a completely new product that I brought into the market. And a lot of people were like, you're going to quit one-on-one personal training to get into online coaching. That's a big risk, because I was making really good financial returns on doing one-on-one coaching. And I always went with my gut. And what I have to say to students and everyone listening in is the fact that when we go through education or university and whatever it is, we are put under so much pressure, and we are asked to fit into this frame. A-level කරලා, university ගිහිල්ලා මෙන්න මේක අරගෙන රස්සාව කරලා promotion එක අරගෙන කසාද බැඳලා වාහනේ අරගෙන ඩඩ. It doesn't have to happen in that particular way. There are a lot of people who find their passion later in life. There are a lot of people who don't even finish school and become millionaires and find spiritual and emotional well-being. All I have to say is completely block out the aunties and the relatives and the friends and whoever discourages you. If you have a feeling or if you have a passion towards something, even if you fail, just try it, because you don't want to be 60 years old and looking back at your life and wondering aparad make karana, it would have been fantastic. So with me, I have tried everything. When I was in Australia, I have worked for Gordon Ramsay. That was the best job that I did in Australia. I worked for this celebrity chef Gordon Ramsay as his receptionist in one of his restaurants. I worked in phone companies. Calls answer karane, whatever. I don't know what you call it.
Telemarketing.
Something like that.
Yeah.
I've scrubbed toilets. I have cleaned down schools. I've done all kinds of odd jobs. And when I came to Sri Lanka after doing my bachelor's, I worked I worked for media for 5 years. I was in radio. I was doing radio shows and whatnot. I've worked for charity organizations. My God, I have taught children creative writing in English. And guys, if you guys can mute yourselves so that I don't lose my train of thought. So I've done all kinds of jobs, and for me, I didn't exactly know what I wanted to do, so I tried so many different things out, and I figured out what I didn't want to do. And then eventually there's this really cool quote that says, follow your highest excitement. You don't need to know exactly what you need to achieve in life. Just pick that one thing you're the most excited about in this particular moment. Let's say it's reading a book. And if reading a book brings you happiness, it elevates your frequency, and that elevated higher frequency will align you to another moment like that and another moment like that. And it'll take you where you need to go. You don't need to figure all this shit out, by the time you're 21, 22, not even 25. For me, I got really stable in my career when I was 28. I'm 34 years old now. And financially, I'm extremely stable. I'm more than stable, right? And that's because I went way beyond the frames that society created for me, especially my family. I mean, I went to Devi Balika, super strict government school. And then after that, the pass rate in that school is 100%. No one fails, right? It's like a cutthroat, full cutthroat. Copy karanna, potling wagan mem kara exams liyanne, that type of, and the expectations are minna make kara, minna make kara, minna make kara, rasavagar banduna, get promotions. That's basically the timeline that was created for me. So when I came back from Australia after doing a criminology degree, and I joined media, and then I started working at a gym. Everyone around me was like, you're losing your shit. What are you doing? But I followed my heart, because at the end of the day, when your family is gone, when the aunties are dead and gone, you will have to live with the life that you created. So don't take all of this seriously. Just follow your heart. You don't need to figure this out within this moment. It'll unfold for you. Yeah.
Yes. That brings us to the next question. So we have friends in our life. So how did your friends and family helped you to come to this stage? How do friends uh, help people? Do they help, or do they drag you down?
I guess it depends from person to person, man. To be really honest with you, for me and even my partner, we didn't have a lot of friends. I have a few friends from school that I'm still in touch with in very good terms, but I was mostly a loner throughout my life. and only now have I attracted the right people into my life. So my advice to you is, if you feel like you don't have a lot of good friends around you, you don't have to force yourself to fit into certain groups or to be liked by people. When you're ready, when you're ready, you will attract the right friends. And
Mhm.
if you feel like your friends are hindering your progress or making you feel not so great, then ditch them. I mean, I rather be alone than be around people who aren't right for me. But currently, I have a great support system. I have an incredible partner. Like, to be honest, he is my best friend more than anything else. And I do have an amazing circle of close friends now. But for many years, I didn't. And even with my family, they supported me. Uh, um, the way they know how. I mean, for them, it was like, hey, man, you gym, fitness, what are you doing? You did a criminology degree, why? But they love me the way they know. You know what I mean? They're traditional people. They didn't expect their only child and the only grandchild to become some fitness person. So they loved me and supported me the way they can and the way they knew how. But now I have a absolutely phenomenal relationship with my family, but that also comes with maturity, because when you look at Sri Lankans mums and daughters have very strange relationships. I have found out that for some reason we have quite toxic relationships. Randu වෙනවා, කෑ ගහ ගන්නවා, we don't have good communication, blah. But as you mature, you will learn how to love them unconditionally. But in order for you to develop a good relationship with your family, you first need to develop a good relationship with yourself. So maybe later on, when we have more questions, maybe we'll like touch base on those things as well. But I'll let you go on to the next question.
Yeah. So the next question is actually related to the family as well. So there are opinions. So when it comes to family life, you should marry at 32, you should have kids, and you should be cooking dinner for your husband likewise. So how did you manage all these things? Uh, Actually,
Yeah.
how did you manage work life and your family life?
You know what? If you're someone who loves to cook dinner for your husband, kudos to you. If that's what you love to do it. I guess it depends from person to person. No, for me, when I got into a relationship with Johan, we played such equal roles in this relationship. I mean, I was a shit cook, but when we cooked together. He helped me out and puluang ekak atola mukak karega kuya ganna. You know what I mean? And then but that has been the role that we played for years. For the past 4.5 years, we are both in it together. We are both working just as hard. And of course, society creates mad frames for you to follow. I got married a couple of weeks ago and I'm 34 years old, and we've been dating for 4.5 years. But I don't know, like I didn't have a need, although there was pressure around me. I anyways don't listen to what people ask me or tell me to do. I always do what I do. I always follow my own intuition and my own heart. So it was anyways like we were married because we were so close emotionally, and even mentally, like we were best friends, and that's what was super important to me. I didn't have to hide anything from my partner. You know what I mean? Like my past relationships, my failures, my weaknesses. I could share everything with him and vice versa. And if you have to hide things from your partner, it probably means it's not that partner is not the right partner for you. And so I didn't have to solidify the relationship and put a ring on my finger just because people asked me to do it. I did it in the right moment when I felt like now it feels like a good time to do it, and it felt right. You know what I mean? And obviously, people say, "Lamai hadan nadda." I personally, I don't want to have children. That has been my view for a very long time because, again, I I I believe in non-attachment. I don't want to create more and more bondage to this worldly life and live in fear, to be honest, because I know how moms go crazy after having children. I see how people are like, "Ayo, ledona, ayo, monahari, and that's not the type of life I want to live. Again, if you're a naturally maternal person, that's cool, that's amazing for you. But I really want to make an impact during my life for as many people as possible. And I know if I have a child, I will be a psychotic mother and I'll be fully giving all of my attention to that child. So personally, my personal decision is I'm not going to have a child, and Johan is very much in alignment with that decision, thankfully. But man, just do what you like. Forget about the aunties and the family, and just do what you want to do. Because if not, one day you're going to wake up, quite old, years into your life, and you'll feel like you didn't do justice by what you wanted to follow.
Yes. So then there are you did martial arts, martial arts. So I had a friend. Actually, she went to South Asian Games as well, a medalist. Uh, when I was going through her Facebook, I wanted to congratulate her for getting the medal. Then I, in that post, it was published by a page. There were some, actually, how would I say, were not good comments. They are like questioning her virginity and everything. Especially, actually, I did know how to tell her even so. Because she did martial arts, how would you have a family life, how are you going to present yourself to the husband. So that was crazy things about her. And she was good actually. She was a silver medalist at South Asian Games. So there are these things in the life. How would you advise the young souls who are passionate about fitness, sports, and everything? How would you advise them?
Gosh, first of all, if you have to answer to a husband and prove your purity to husband, that's not the right guy for you, first of all. Secondly, what I've noticed, I mean, when I started training, everyone was like, you're not going to be able to have kids. First of all, I don't want to have children, but everyone was concerned about my ability to have children after I started training. If anything, you become healthier. Your body becomes healthier and more fertile. But hateful, negative comments, I believe, come from people who don't understand. When they see something they don't understand, they want to attack it, and that's usually how they operate. A couple of days ago, I had another road track like talk like this, and this one person the me ahang inne kenek unmute karagana started like kunalpa gan panan gatta. So during that moment, I was talking to them about how we don't have control over what happens externally in your life, but you have control over how you respond to these stressors and triggers. And I was like, Anna, that was a perfect example. You don't have control over who hates on you, who likes you, who dislikes you. People dislike Buddha, people dislike Jesus. People dislike the holiest, the most sacred beings that walk this planet. So who the heck are we? Obviously, people will hate on us. From the day I started social media, I've got hate comments 100 million times. At this point, it doesn't affect me at all because I understand. Now, recently, with my last video, I posted about like us getting married in front of Ruan Velisaya, and one person came online and commented saying, "Ruan Velisaya, we're gonna kind of wear rangapana something." So in that moment, I really, I really wanted to go into that person's mind and see that person's thinking. ඒ මනුස්සයා ඇත්තට මෙහෙම හිතන හින්දායි ඒ කමෙන්ට් එක දාන්නේ. That person actually believes it. That's that person's underdeveloped wisdom faculty. ඉතින් බයින්න බෑ. That's their thinking, that's their understanding. What we need to realize is the fact that people are so diverse. Not everyone has thinking capacity or the intelligence that we may have. You know what I mean? So it's completely normal and expected for people to speak this way. For me, what I have practiced for many years is, instead of worrying about what other people say about me, I always look into how I respond when stuff like this happens. මගේ හිත ඇතුලෙන් එන response එක, මගේ හිත ඇතුලෙන් එන let's say ඒ trigger එකට මං response කරන විදිය මං බලන් ඉන්නවා. I watch how I respond to these triggers. Does everyone understand Sinhala over here?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Because මං කැලි Sinhala කතා කරනවා. So the best thing is, your life experience will always throw triggers at you. People who dislike you, people who make you feel really shit about yourself, people who will make you doubt yourself. Instead of worrying about them, always watch your mind. Once you get into the habit of watching your mind, it's the process of watching your mind, right? Religion, let's look at the fact that this is a really powerful tool that anyone can use to be unshaken by triggers like this, right? So when you get into the habit of watching your mind, now I'm a little bit disturbed, oh, now I'm feeling really affected by this. When you get into the habit of watching your mind, with time, you will start seeing these patterns before they happen. එතකොට මොකක් මොනවා කිව්වත්, you will feel absolutely nothing. You're gonna be rock solid, right? So even if your entire external life experience crumbles into and shatters into dust, you're gonna be strong as ever. You're gonna be grounded, and you're gonna be able to take decisions in crucial, tough situations way better compared to 99% of the population.
Yes. So you started criminology and then pursued fitness, and I know quite a lot in not only boys, not only girls, but boys. They study something. They are persuaded to study something by the family, peers, colleagues, and everything, all. But they need to do something they like, but they do not have the courage to do so. Uh, or else they cannot find themselves or find something they like. uh, how would they find something they are passionate about? How would they go on their life and do something they like?
Yeah. So, first of all, I have a very close friend who studied medicine for 8 years. And on the last year, right before exams, he quit because he was like, I'm so miserable that I'm just gonna like my head is gonna explode if I go ahead with it. And his entire family till this day is extremely against him to a point where his mom was like, don't come home. Right. But the thing is, if he went on with this decision 10 years from now, he would probably be miserable because he would be doing a profession that he hates. Right. So sometimes you need to make decisions for yourself. And when it comes to figuring out your purpose and figuring out what you want to do, let's completely not focus on what is not working out for you. මට මේක ෂුවර් නෑ මට මේක දන්නේ අයියෝ මම ෆුල් අවුල් ඒකට focus කරන්න එපා. Focus on the things that bring you joy. Whatever it is, small things, reading a book, going for a walk, watching a documentary, writing, reading, whatever it is, you know what I mean? So when you focus on the things that bring you joy, and when you spend more time and energy committed to those activities, your frequency as an individual will raise, right? You will be like a walking light beam, attracting the right things into your life. So do what brings you joy, and those moments will attract more things to be joyful about, and eventually it'll take you to your purpose. Don't be too serious about this stuff. You all have to just take it easy. Do the stuff that you love. When I say do the stuff that you love, I don't mean getting drunk and partying. I mean really looking for the tiny joys that you enjoy. Recently, I was having like a life coaching session with one of my clients, and she was like, I don't know what I want to do with my life. I studied design. She's a design student from AOD, and she was like, I don't know what I want to do. Like, I'm not passionate about this, but all she's interested in is like meditation, counseling. Then එයාගේම passion එක එයාම මට උත්තර ටික දෙනවා. ඒත් එයාට ඒක පේන්නේ නැහැ. Because she doesn't think that she can't make a living out of something like this. Like when I started dating my partner, when I told him do fitness full time, he was like, yeah, but I don't know if I'll make a good living out of it. I said, then I told him, this is all you talk about. You don't speak about anything else. When you come home, you speak about how is it again, what do I live today? This is going to be my workout. So sometimes you don't even know what's right under your nose. It could be like making cars or drawing. It could be anything. You know what I mean? And once you spend time doing those things, it'll develop into something else. So just spend time in doing what brings you joy. That's the simple answer for this question.
Yes. Then there's actually there are glass ceilings in the society, and I want to just add something here, because as the club president, I'm very glad we have girls coming forward, and our two vice presidents in the club, the secretary, assistant secretary, and majority 80% of the activity director board are females. But I see there are females, the girls, especially the young girls, they are not coming forward to take up the leadership. They said, ayo mata baha pirimi kenek gathot hondai. Like there's this glass ceiling. And I have seen that a lot. Sometimes I have to talk them extensively to make them to do a project even. And so how do we motivate them? How do we tell them to come
Yeah.
forward.
One thing for sure is that nothing great is sitting in your comfort zone. In order for you to grow, you need to do the stuff that scares you. I remember when I was in university, whenever I had to do a presentation, man, like my heart would like just it's like a second away from jumping out of my chest. It used to make me so nervous to speak in public, but now I do it for a living. Now I'm in front of a camera constantly. I'm doing stuff like this, and before lockdown I would speak in front of like huge crowds, and this used to be something that used to make me super nervous to a point where I couldn't even fall asleep the day before. So sometimes we really, really need to step out of our comfort zone and do the stuff that scares us, even if you mess up. Just go do it. And secondly, may gender ganu පිරිමි කියන එක ඔළුවෙන් අයින් කරගන්න. Stop thinking man, woman, a man is better for this job. Just think in terms of human. We are humans. We are all alive, right? We all have a certain level of intelligence. We all have this life force flowing through us. We are all presented with opportunities. So just take away the fact that you are a man and I'm a woman, and just show up and do the stuff that you're uncomfortable with.
Yes. So I have a question from the audience. I will just read that out. Uh, I want to ask how to deal with a toxic mother who tries to fight with you all the time and criticizes you all the time.
That's a really common theme in Sri Lanka, man. It's really sad. I feel like the reason why our mothers can be super toxic is because they have gone through toxic childhoods themselves, or they've gone through toxic marriages, and they don't have the tools to process their trauma. Hence, this internalized trauma, they project it all on the daughter. And I've experienced this within myself, and I had a terrible relationship with my mom. My mom used to beat me up and like verbally say really nasty things to me, but that is because when she was a child, she was abused by her grandmother. Her grandmother used to beat her up, not give her slippers to wear to go to school. She had to like 10 in the night when she was 6-7 years old, she was sent to the kade. And her father died young, and her mother had to go overseas to work, and then she was given away to her grandmother, and she had gone through like a lot of trauma. And then she brought this trauma forward into her marriage and constantly thought that my father will abandon her. And that fear made my father leave her. Right. So trauma creates extra trauma. It's like a snowball effect. And all this pain that she carried, she unleashed on me. She would, the second she felt like I was out of control, she would unleash it on me. She would beat me up and she would be so mean. And at the same time, there are moments where she takes care of me and loves me, and all of that. So what I've understood is that hurt people. People in pain will cause pain to other people, and it's tough to develop compassion when you are restless. It's tough to deal with stuff like this when you are restless. So if you're a daughter or if you're a family member who's experiencing this type of behavior, I would and especially if you don't have the financial freedom, or if you're not old enough to move out of your house, then you have to be in that environment. So I say spend enough and more time strengthening your inner essence, and make a කරන්නේ through meditation. Meditation කියන්නේ මේ එරමිනිය ගොතාගෙන 3 hours still ඉඳගෙන ඇස් දෙක වහගෙන හුස්ම ගන්න එක නෙමෙයි. Meditation in my opinion is observing your mind constantly. මනස වැටෙන්නේ කොතනද කියලා හැමතිස්සම අවධානයෙන් ඉන්න. Even someone pisses you off, when someone hurts you, when someone insults you, watch your mind, watch your mind, watch your mind. This is the base level of vidarsana. You do this long enough, this becomes habit. එතකොට කවුරු මොනවා කිව්වත් ඔයාලකින් response එකක් එන්නේ නැහැ, because you know ඒක එන්න කලින් ඔයා දන්නවා what a response එකක් එන්නේ නැහැ, and then you get used to not responding also. So මේ ප්‍රැක්ටිස් එක ඩෙවලොප් කරන් යන්න ඔයාගේ අම්මා ඔයාගේ වටේ ගිනි මැලයක් ගහලා වටේ ඩාන්ස් කර කර ඉඳලා තොවිලයක් නැටුවත් it's not going to affect you. So it's easier said than done, but what I have to tell you is spend more time being still. If you have unprocessed emotions, working out can really help you. It can really release the pain that is stored in your body. Write it down if you have to, speak about it if you have to with people that you trust, right? And spend time watching your mind. So even if your mother is going crazy and calling you derogatory things, or if she criticizes you, what if you can just stay still? What if she's just doing all of this and you're just still? That is possible. I'm telling you, because I've done it. Like I live with my grandparents right now. During the second wave of the lockdown, they're in their 80s, so I didn't want to leave them alone. So we moved from Colombo and we moved into this beautiful like Gama, And it's not easy being with them. Again, udeda ravenaka news mangidan dawasal pass parak vita balna. So the COVID fear has completely consumed them. So from morning till night, if I sit at the dining table, all I hear is other mecharak maruna. Memai then me vaccination memai na akimisu maruna. It's all bad stuff. But I am unfazed, even when they criticize me. Like, for an example, my grandparents, they want to see me exhausted to know that I'm making money, because that's how their brain is wired. For them, you have to work hard and kill yourself to make money. Whereas I don't kill myself, nor do I work hard to create a very successful business. I worked hard during a certain period of my life, but now I have created a well oiled machine, and now it's not as hard for me to execute things or make money, right? Can you guys hear me, or is it just our president who's stuck?
No, we can hear you.
Oh, excellent.
Yeah.
Do you all remember what I was saying? All right. Okay. So right. So my grandparents. So they're so used to expecting me to look exhausted, to prove to them that that I'm making cash. So whenever they see me looking really fresh, they would say stuff like, "Wow, what clients are not," and they would instantly put me down, right? So what do I do? Do you think it affects me? It does not affect me one bit at all. I can look at them with compassion. I can look at them with love and understand that they are working through and functioning through their own understanding. So it doesn't matter who does what around you, if you can find stillness within yourself. And if you guys want to understand how to do this Vidarshana, you guys can message me on Instagram on Gayatri Koditoku or Gaia Koditoku. I'm more than happy to help you guys, because I feel like this tool has the power to change lives. It has changed me as a person. It has changed me from being a very destructive, aggressive, traumatized person to the person that I am today. So if you guys want to learn about it, just go ahead and message me. Can you guys see me by any chance? Because I can't find.
Sorry, there was a power cut and I lost my connection.
That's okay. That's okay. I went on and answered that entire question.
Yeah.
That's really fine.
Yeah. So
Please.
there was another question. If you are not financially independent, how would you follow your passion? So this is another question from the audience.
Right. Before we go into that, I can't see you or myself. Did something happen to this screen? I'm just trying to figure this out. Can you see this conversation?
Yes, I can see that.
Okay. Okay. All right. I think we're okay. All right. So if you're not financially stable, how can you follow your passion? I was definitely not financially stable. I just did what I loved. Me not being financially stable didn't stop me from posting on social media and sharing my journey in fitness. Me not being unstable did not stop me from creating a voice and creating awareness on social media. I spoke about what I loved, and that's all I did. I didn't have any prior business experience. I didn't have any knowledge about strategy, nothing. I just did what I love. So don't overcomplicate this. You don't need to have money to make money. Let me tell you that. All you need is passion and good energy, right? And focus, and a, and a at least to an extent a good state of mind. And if you guys want to get into a good state of mind, meditation meditation, but watching your mind constantly, being observant about the mind, learning about the mind. How does this thing work? Because this thing can either drive you crazy, or this thing can help you win, right? So that's all you need. You don't need money to make money.
Yes. There's another question. Did the overprotectiveness you faced in your childhood become a hindrance later in life? And
Yeah.
later, can you explain how you got into the path of finding inner peace, mindfulness,
Yeah.
etc.? Like, how did you initiate, and right now, what is the process?
Okay.
That's a long question.
Yeah, and I remember it. So 1 second. Yeah. So I'm trying to remember the first bit. Yeah. So overprotectiveness in childhood definitely affected me later on, because I didn't have social skills. In the sense, I didn't know how to look at a person and judge if this person is dangerous or not, because I was not exposed to society, right? But regardless of what happened, of course, I went through so much of emotional and physical trauma because of the fact that I was overprotected. And when I was exposed to the world, everything just came at me and I just lost it. And I put myself in really dangerous situations. But it did not affect me, or it did not turn into a disadvantage. This is the thing: no matter what happens to you, I was sexually assaulted, I was raped, I was physically abused, I was locked up in a room for days, I was beaten up, I'd gone through all this stuff. I had also been homeless. I had also had experiences of being broke for very long periods of time. So I've gone through so many different challenges in life, but those things also added so much substance to who I am. I won't be able to coach women and relate to the people that I relate to the way I relate to if I hadn't gone through these things. So, whenever something happens to you, your first response shouldn't be, oh my God, why is this happening to me? Your first response should be, this is happening for me. This is a growth opportunity for me, in order for me to learn, in order for me to become a more, to become a sharper, a more aware individual. So for me, for the longest time, whenever I had gone through triggers or challenges, I've always taken them as something to develop on. I've taken them as something to add to my life. So my advice to you is, even when things seem to be falling apart, even when things seems to be just shattering around your life, take all of those moments as opportunities. When my brother passed away, I thought that was the end of the world. It took me a year of grieving to understand like what the heck is going on. But today I understand why it happened. I understand how loss works. I understand the dukkha part of life, and that particular moment pushed me into my spiritual path. And you guys asked me how I developed this whole mindfulness and like spiritual well-being. Again, my preferred path was the Buddhist path. You all can have whatever it is that's working for you. And the Buddhist teachings taught me vidarshana. It taught me the workings of the mind, and that changed my life forever. And that's the process for me. The process is constant awareness of how this thing works. And in Buddhism we call it vidarshana, satara satipatthana. What, you know, deep දේවල් ඉගෙන ගන්න අවශ්‍ය නැහැ, මේ simple දේ කරන්න. Once you do this, the baseline of the vidarshana over time, or Buddhist වෙන්න පුළුවන්, or Catholic or Muslim, you can be any religion, Hindu, it doesn't matter. Use it as just a tool. When you do it, it really matures you and develops you and gives you so much substance, right? You will be able to maneuver through any challenge in life.
Yes. There's another question. So this is related to fitness.
Yeah.
How do you manage your diet with your busy schedule?
Because I've been doing it for almost a decade, it's like automatic for me. For nearly 8 years of my life, I counted every single calorie, every single gram of protein, fat, and carbs, because I competed and I was just very into that. But for the past 2 years, I'm not as crazy, or I'm not as like regimented as I used to be, because right now my path has slightly shifted. I'm not competing anymore. I'm not interested in competing anymore. I'm interested in being healthy, being strong, taking care of my body, and also nourishing my spiritual path, and impacting as many people as possible along the way. So I don't have to go as crazy anymore, but I still eat extremely healthy. I stay away from processed food, deep fried food, sugar, gluten. I don't eat a lot of stuff, but I don't have to fight to not eat those things, because I haven't eaten those things in so long. ඒකින්ද මට මේක අමුතුවෙන් fight කරන්න දෙයක් නෑ. Naturally, it's just that's my natural state. Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying suppress yourself and don't eat. Once in a while you can have and treat yourself to, you know, some delicious food. That's totally fine, but find moderation, find the middle path.
Yes. So that was another question from the audience. So if you guys have any other questions, you can drop it in the chat box. Meanwhile, I'll ask my final question as from my end. When girls are doing fashion, doing getting tattoos, they are looked upon, and especially when they are posing for in social media doing TikToks, and there are so many talks around them. They are call them crazy, very hateful comments.
Hmm.
So you have tattoos, and I know all of them have stories except for one. So how do and I know there were friends of mine. They wanted to have tattoos, but they could not because of the peer pressure and the family pressure. So
Yeah.
how would you what would they what should they do?
Yeah. So the thing with the thing with social media is like it can be a, to be really honest with you, man, social media can be such a shit show. Social media is basically open. It opens you to the rest of the world, and the rest of the world is it's not all pure saint like people. The rest of the world is a mix of everybody. And me langadi thing alu thing on a video got this girl like playing video games and wearing the short dress.
Yes.
And everyone's talking about it, laughing at her. But for me, I don't know. Like I feel like I'm incapable of judging a person. But when I see her, she's doing what she loves. Man, if she wants to wear a short dress and show her bum, let her show her bum. I feel like Sri Lanka is so. Um, One thing is we judge each other so much. I don't think people in other countries judge each other the way we judge each other. Let her show her bum if she wants to show her bum, and if it makes her happy, man. Like what's the big deal? It's and I think it's because I feel like අපේ ඇතුලේ තියෙන frustration එළියට දාගන්න බැරි හින්දා we put all of our attention onto this external thing. Social media එකේ මොකක් හරි එක news story එකක් ගියාම everyone's like මේක දැක්කද අරයා දැක්කද you know this happened to her, my goodness. People should start focusing on themselves. What I can see is that girl may be crazy or whatever it is, I don't care, but it looks like she's happy, looks like she's doing what she wants to do. She's probably making like a good amount of money also. And everybody else, I've seen those comments because someone actually shared this link to me, and I was like, so much hate. There's so much hate. There's so much resistance. There's so much anger. There's so much judgment. The energy and the darkness of the emotion that people harbor towards women sometimes on social media is just crazy. I feel like that girl may be more free than 90% of the population. She doesn't give a shit. She's doing what she wants to do. So again, if you want to do something or if you want to take it to that extent, you will have to know that ඒ වගේ දෙයක් කරද්දී ඒකේ අනිත් පැත්තට ඒ විදිහම feedback එකක් එනවා. ඒ විදිහම hatred එකක් වාට එනවා. So if you want to be a part of social media, and if you want to do exactly what you love, you need to know how social media works. I know, for an example, if I dressed in a certain way and if I post in a certain way, I will get these type of feedback. You know what I mean? So I know exactly what I'm doing, but that doesn't mean that I restrict myself and my life to please or to validate or for people to like me, right? But it's like a sharp razor's edge. So I don't know, like it's a very complicated question. If you guys want to be a part of social media or if you want to just do what you like, you can, but do it with the understanding of how Sri Lankan society works, to be really honest with you. And in regards to getting a tattoo, man, this is your life, do what you like. Um, I understand people not wanting to get tattoos or doing all these things because of family and because of parents. If you're living under their roof, it's gonna be really tough. You know how I did it? I went to the tattoo artist, I got tattoos, and I just showed up at home and I got blackguarded. and that was my way of doing it. And my mom, I remember I had this huge tattoo on my abdomen, on my stomach. And when she saw that tattoo for the first time, she didn't talk to me for like a month. So I of course kind of don't care. So I go ahead and do what I like. But everyone's different, no? Everyone's different. So we answer a question, එක උත්තරයක් දෙන්න අමාරුයි.
All right. There are a couple of more questions. Again, this is from the audience and it is related to fitness. How do you stay constant with your diet and workout without giving up in the middle?
Oh, again, I'm super programmed to go through with it. But what I say is, when you're training, um, one moment at a time. That on days where even there are days where even I don't want to work out. Like yesterday, I didn't feel like working out. Yesterday, I was like, I'm not in the mood to work out. එතකොට කරන්නේ, you you get into your clothing, you have a cup of coffee or whatever it is that gets you into the mood, and then one moment at a time. Hari this moment එක ඉවර කරා දැන් ඊළඟ moment එක. හරි ඒකත් ඉවර කරනවා. So moment by moment, halfway into your workout, you're gonna automatically get into the mood. So one moment at a time, don't overthink it. One moment at a time. That has been my mantra for many years. When I was competing, I had to train 8 hours a day. I'm talking about 3.5 hours of weightlifting. I had to do the cardio treadmill like a high incline, maximum incline dala like 3 hours I had to walk when I was competing. Plus I had to walk on a solid surface. So in total 8 hours of training. You guys think it was fun? Not at all, man. And I had to do it for like 3 months straight every single day. So Eva out, how do I get myself to do it? One moment at a time, Hari. One moment, second moment. All right. But you guys don't have to do that. You guys have to just clock in 30 to 45 minutes a day. That's it. You know? So oka karanna bhai nang, how are you gonna face tougher challenges in life? That's the thing. When you're training, when you're committed to a fitness regime, it really shapes you and toughens you up to face normal life. You will have to do things that you don't like. You know what I mean? When I was building my business, there were so many things that I had to do from ground level up that I didn't like responding to inquiries or just being on the laptop the whole time. Sometimes 90% of the time when I talk to a client, they speak a lot about their emotional trauma, but there are some calls that go for a very long time and it can be exhausting. So sometimes you need to do things that you don't like. So training will really prime you. And හොඳට පිහියක් මේ sharpen කරනවා වගේ ඔගොල්ලෝ හොඳට sharpen කරයි when you go through life to do things that you don't particularly enjoy, but be able to do them anyways.
So this is another question from the audience. Did meditation help you to get over the trauma?
Yeah, absolutely. Vidarshana helped me to break the patterns and the chains of trauma. 110%. Yeah. I mean, I had a lot of anger issues. I had a lot of aggression. If you talk to my partner, I don't know how he tolerated me the first few years of the relationship because I was quite broken and damaged even during that time. And it was a slow process, but observing my mind, doing my Vidarshana practice really changed me as a person. I'm not the same person that I used to be even 2 months ago. It constantly makes you change. It constantly makes you evolve and develop yourself and become a better person. So 110%.
Yes. There's another question. So, how do you manage your financial independency, individually and within the relationship, the saving process, and all?
Yeah.
So this is from Pamudita. Pamudita, I think.
Sure. That's a good question. I feel like everyone's different. There are relationships where the husband or the wife will hamba karla egulong salary ganit tekkenat. But Johan and I have been very like individual. We are very much together. We are best friends, but we are also individual. We don't work together. We do the same thing. We work in the same house. We train together, go everywhere together, but we work. We own two separate businesses. We own two separate accounts. We own two separate savings. And when we need to spend, we both spend. And that's how it works. But a different method may work for you. I know certain people who have joint accounts. We can do it if we want to, but this way works better because we are responsible for different things. I take care of family members. I have way more responsibility than he is when it comes to family because I'm the only child and the only grandchild. So I financially support my grandparents. I financially support my uncle who doesn't have children. I financially support my mom's mom. I also support my grand uncle and his wife who also doesn't have children. So I have way more responsibility than him. So I අපි දෙන joint account එකකට මට යාගේ සල්ලි අරන් මට යටවල දෙන්න බෑනේ. He of course supports me so much. But this is a very clear-cut way that we process through when it comes to finances.
Yes. So we have been discussing for it's almost an hour. So if you guys have any more questions, you can ask. Raise your hand or drop it in the chat box. Meanwhile, any final remarks, Gaia?
There's one more question that I just saw. Can I answer that?
Yes.
I know. Probably a lady who wants skin-related questions. What are the skin treatments are you doing? Number one, drink a whole ton of water. Secondly, don't complicate your skincare regime. Lakshya jati mune ganna epa, වැඩ කරන කීපයක් පාවිච්චි කරන that works for you. When you're using a cleanser, make sure that you don't use a cleanser that dries your skin out. The boys must be like, but just bear with us. So when you guys are using a cleanser, don't use cleanser that makes your skin super dry. Okay, that's gonna really mess you up. So make sure that you guys get a really nice cleanser that keeps the moisture and the natural moisture in your skin. And niacinamide is an excellent product for you guys to use. So niacinamide is something that you guys can invest in. Keep your skincare simple. Make a rasne ratak jati godak mune gagana make complicate karagana pa hondara water bonna. Eat really healthy. Meditate. When your stress levels are low and when you sleep properly, mama name veddi I go to bed. I wake up around 3:30, right? Mata hariram. So basically, we should follow the rhythm of the sun, or this is what we call the circadian rhythm, right? The rhythm of the sun. So when we go to sleep with the sun, with the sun kila house, and let's say we go to bed by 9 o'clock and we wake up around, let's say 5, we get the right amount of hours of sleep in. So during that time, let's say from 9 to 3 වගේ කාලය ඇතුළත තමයි ඔයාගේ body එක fully recover කරන්නේ, fully regenerate වෙන්නේ. ඔයා රෑ 2කට නිදාගෙන මේ දවල් වල නැගිට්ටාම your body doesn't recover properly. So get your sleep properly. You will see massive changes in your skin, in your body, in your energy levels. සමහර කට්ටියට දවල් වෙදී නිදි මතයි energy නැහැ. ඇයි? Your sleeping pattern is completely messed up. So fix your sleeping pattern. It affects the way you look. It affects everything, your brain functioning to everything. And keep it simple. Drink lots of water and be super healthy and meditate.
Okay, so if you guys have any more questions, I'll give it a minute or two to ask or drop it in the chat box. Meanwhile, I would like to invite the District Vice President of Leo District 30631, Leo Kochitagamlat, to share your thoughts.
Well, Khalindu, hope I am visible and audible. Yeah, well, first of all, I would like to thank Leo Khavindya and Leo Khavindu for inviting me to attend to your project today. And it's a great pleasure to spend this time with you. I logged onto the meeting around 4:15 and I was there till 4:45. And again, I logged on. We have another meeting on for the orientation program for another club. I was there for a little bit, and again I joined there. So I also learned a bit of not a bit. I also learned so many things from listening to you, Madam Gaia. So actually, I think this is a good opportunity for girls in this situation with this deadly pandemic. I think got the good opportunity to use the time in a proper way. So and we saw so many suicides happen during the Sri Lanka in the past 2 weeks. I thought it 2 or 3 suicide cases we reported to the news. So we want to manage our schedule, and we have to work to how to utilize our time and move with people in a proper way, how to spend our time in the right manner. So then again, I want to thank Leo Fatugarpura for organizing this kind of a project. And so I think it's more valuable for girls, probably. And it will be, and I would like to thank Madam Gaia again for sharing your positive thoughts and sharing your schedule with them in this hard time. And thank you all. Cheers.
Thank you, Koji. So, as the club president of Leo Club of Athugalpura, I must thank Ms. Gaia Kodituaku again for attending this valuable session. I know this was done for women empowerment, but I know there are many boys came here, and even I learned a lot and about meditation, self-consciousness, and everything. So if you guys don't have any other questions, we will end the session now. Before that, I would like to invite Liu Kavinda Subhasingha to deliver the vote of thanks.
Okay, very good evening all. Kalindoya, can you hear me?
Yes, Kavinda.
Okay, thank you. So again, a very good evening, everyone. So we have come to the end of Pink to the Bonds webinar on women empowerment. So Mrs. Gaia Koditaku, our guest speaker today, thank you so much again and again for accepting our invitation and being here and spending your valuable time with us, with all of us. Thanks a lot. And Lions Club of the president of Lions Club of Kirigumbura, Line Engineer Lakshman Ullandupitia. Thank you, Uncle, for participation. And at the same time, our District Vice President, Leo District 306C1, Leo Kojita Gamlat. Thank you so much, Kojitaya. We highly appreciate your participation with your busy schedule today. And thank you for always being with us. Thanks a lot. And I would like to thank all the district council members and all the other leaders from our other clubs. And at the same time, our club president, Leo Kandukumar Singha, who is the moderator today. Thank you so much, Aya, for your support throughout the project. And we can't forget our immediate past club president, Leo Supasan Demanta, and all the club executives, directors, and my dear club members. Thank you so much for the support. We made this project up to this level because of you all. So again and again, thank you all so much for all the participants. So please stay safe and have a pleasant evening. Bye.
Yes, thank you, Kavinda. And with that, we come to the end of the program, Ping to the Boons. Again, thank you, Gaia. So if you have any more questions, please, I think they can contact you through Instagram.
And before I go, first of all, I want to say when Kavindia spoke, how beautiful it is that as a culture, we always say Ayya, uncle. It's a laksana deyak tinone. Like when you look at it, like I mean, I was in Australia for 5 years. Karu Ayya, uncle, kila kata ganna, hamma namma kila kata ganna. There's something so beautiful about the way we relate to each other. So I just want to appreciate that. And before I go, I just want to say, because I couldn't catch his name, the other person who spoke after, right before Kavindia, he mentioned the fact that the fact that there were so many suicides happening in the past few in the past period because of COVID. So I just want to like relay something to you. The reason why people want to kill themselves, or the reason why we go through depression and anxiety, is because we are so uncomfortable to sit with our pain. That's basically what it actually means. අපි අපේ feelings එක අපේ emotions එක අපේ pain එකත් එක්ක පොඩ්ඩක් ඒක ඇතුලේ ඉන්න පුරුදු වෙන්න ඕනේ. What do we usually do when we feel pain, or when we feel uncomfortable? We try to get away from it. සමහර වෙලාවට කට්ටිය බොන්න යනවා. එහෙම නැත්නම් මොකක් හරි movie එකක් බලනවා. එහෙම නැත්නම් we'll do anything to distract ourselves from feeling the actual emotions. So with that technique I spoke to you guys about, when it comes to Vidarshana, it's all about getting into the center of those feelings and thoughts and watching those thoughts, right? So during these hard times, guys, don't be scared of spending time alone. Nirbhaya venna. Tamage atulante pariksha karanna nirbhaya venna. Right? Go into your minds, go into your hearts, and really experience what's going on. Because then ඇතුළේ තියෙන කුණු process කරේ නැත්නම් වයසට ගියාම ඔය process කරන්න ඕගොල්ලන්ට wisdom එකයි ප්‍රඥාවයි නැහැ. So spend time with yourself, get to know yourself. And if you guys have any questions, if you guys need any guidance, more than happy to help you. Just drop me a message on Instagram. And I hope all of you guys stay super safe. And thank you so much for making me a part of this session.
Thank you, Gaia and everybody. So we shall end the program for the day. So guys, stay safe, stay at home,
Have a nice day. Thank you very much, all.
Thank you.